one of the things that I do is to just remember how far we've come. 10 years ago, if you told somebody you wanted to talk to them about the Federal Reserve, they'd walk away from you. You know, they were already considering you the tinfoil hat people.
5 years ago.
Yeah. So most of us have been working in the liberty movement and trying to promote this for so long. I mean, we get tired, and it's really hard to measure the progress that we've already made. And we need to stop, take a breath every once in a while, relax. We all need to take a vacation, short ones, but just take a couple days to recharge your batteries and look back at the way things used to be. I've been telling people that most of what the government does is unconstitutional for, well, 28 years now. And for me, I'm thrilled to see all these patriot groups, the Campaign for Liberty, the Oath Keepers, the Continental Congress, all these different groups.
Freedom Phoenix.
What's that? Freedom Phoenix? Oh, it's been going on for a long time. And our numbers are building. We've reached a tipping point where it doesn't take a long time anymore to talk to people about these different problems, to convince them that something needs to be done. And we are getting more and more people kind of on our side, all working together. Well, we may not be working together as much as we would like. Everybody's got an idea of where the worst problem is, all we have to do to fix the problem is, but all those things need to be done. We need to support each other as much as possible, but there's no right way or wrong way to get this done because there's so much bad stuff out there. I've been focusing on the basics. I teach an 8-hour class, and I talk primarily about property. Property is the fundamental core of everything that we do as humans. There's no place in the world where you can go that property is not important. If Ernie and I go to Paris and we're sitting along the Champs-Elysees, we're watching the French girls walk by, and I reach over and grab somebody's croissant, they're going to start yelling at us in French. And even though Ernie and I may not understand French, we've got a pretty good idea why they're upset. And if we go into court, I can say, well, Your Honor, we were from the United States. We didn't know it was against the law to take somebody else's stuff. Well, that's not going to fly. I mean, obviously, you're not allowed to take other people's things. In some Middle Eastern countries, if you get caught stealing, they'll cut off your hand. And I find it fascinating. I truly find it fascinating because so few people have ever been to the Middle East, but everybody seems to know that if you get caught stealing, they're going to cut off your hand. And I suspect if you do go to the Middle East, you'll keep your hands in your pockets. Be real careful not to get caught accidentally taking something. So, property is a universal concept. There is no place on the face of the earth you can find humans there. Private property is important because we need it for life. Your food is property. Your shelter is property. All the toys that you gather around you, those are property that you need to pursue happiness. Everybody understands the importance of property. It's a universal concept, which is one of the reasons that we're going to win. We are going to restore liberty. Another reason that I know we're going to be successful is because the idea of private property is so simple. Even a 2-year-old understands the importance of private property. What's a 2-year-old's favorite word? Mine.
Mine.
We want it to be mine. That way we can control it. I can take the milk bottle and throw it across the room and watch Mom chase after it. I can take Dad's car keys and shove them under the sofa cushion. Watch Dad scramble around early in the morning trying to go to work. I mean, you can't buy entertainment like that. Now, admittedly, a 2-year-old is not real clear on the concept of yours. A 2-year-old thinks everything is mine. Well, apparently so does our government. The Supreme Court made a ruling in 2005, Kelo versus New London, says we can take your property, give it to somebody else, as long as somebody else is going to pay more in taxes. Government's telling us that it's mine. They're acting like 2-year-olds. I had several phone calls from people within the few days after that decision, people calling me going, Michael, they can't do that, can they? Now, do you think these people are calling me long distance because they think the Supreme Court can do that? No, they've already come to the logical conclusion that this violates the whole spirit of private property. It's completely, totally unconstitutional. They can't believe that it's a formal statement from the Supreme Court, and they're calling the constitutional expert to confirm what they've already decided. You can't take somebody else's stuff. So the third reason that we are guaranteed to restore liberty is once you learn something, you can't unlearn it. It's just kind of there. It's like if you accidentally walk into your parents' bedroom and you catch them doing things, it's like, oh man, you know, like that's just an image you can't get rid of. You can never unlearn that. Once people learn how important private property is, how universal it is to all of our human interactions, then you can't unlearn that. Now, once you learn that private property is important, you can ask yourself, well, what different forms of government do we have that may or may not protect private property? Well, the Declaration, all of our founding documents, Constitution and Bill of Rights, are all based on life, liberty, and private property. Basically, 3 items that are different sides of the same thing. As a Boy Scout, I learned about a fire triangle. In order to have fire, you have to have fuel, heat, and oxygen. Well, life, liberty, and property are kind of like a freedom triangle. You know, if you don't have life, well, there's no point in talking about having property. You may be alive, but if you don't have the liberty to make your own decisions, you're a slave. And if you're alive and they don't allow you to have property, I mean, you're not going to be alive for very long. So life, liberty, and property are this freedom triangle, and you take any one of those away, and you are no longer free. The purpose, the reason that the Constitution was written, ostensibly, was to try to protect life, liberty, and property. But we've gotten it into our heads that the Constitution is supposed to protect us. The Constitution is just a piece of paper. It's a piece of paper with a series of ideas. Now, if nobody reads those ideas, if nobody understands those ideas, and more importantly, nobody stands up to defend those ideas, you may as well take that piece of paper and bury it under a pyramid someplace. Or better yet, just put it in a bird cage. What difference does it make? Because we're not using it. What we need to understand is that it is our responsibility to know and defend those ideas, whether the piece of paper exists or not.